If you'd like, you can take a moment to call in some relaxation to any parts of the body that might want it. As always, no forcing or judgment around any tension. Just offering this invitation. And you might check out the space around the eyes where we tend to tighten up throughout the day, from looking at screens to being in the sun, whatever other environmental reasons we might squint the eyes, or just maybe a spot where we hold stress or tension. Imagine the eyelids relaxing and the muscles around the eyes relaxing. Maybe even imagining the eye sockets relaxing, the eyeballs relaxing. Maybe imagining you could relax your eyelashes. And you can relax your body in whatever way you like, including not relaxing it at all, if that's what's right for you in this moment. If you'd like, you can follow along with me. We'll go down to the jaw now and the mouth, inviting the lips to relax. And the jaw, both sides. Maybe the tongue wants to relax. The teeth parting as the jaw relaxes a bit more. And maybe even imagining that the teeth can relax. Gums relaxing. Relaxing into the neck and the shoulders. Letting those shoulders drop. You can continue to invite this relaxation throughout the body. Maybe the hands want to relax. Perhaps the stomach wants to soften. The muscles of the pelvic floor release. Maybe there's some clenching in the thighs that wants to soften. Maybe the feet want to relax. So we're going to work with this effortless receiving and letting go that's available in our breathing. It's receiving on the inhale, and it's letting go on the exhale. So to begin, just noticing the feeling of the breath. Just a simple breath awareness here. And there's many different ways to focus on the breath. So you can do what works for you. Maybe it's one single point of focus, such as the nostrils. But what you might like to explore is really tuning into the body breathing rather than the feeling of the air moving in and out, actually experiencing the movement within the body as it breathes, the experience of this body receiving and releasing the air. And so potentially spreading attention out from the nostrils, nasal passages, throat, chest, diaphragm, stomach, even the muscles of the pelvic floor. And maybe it's possible to take in all of that. Or maybe you choose a few areas to focus on or slowly spread out. Maybe starting with just feeling the nose breathe. But again, it's not the flow of air. It's not the following of the air. It's actually the movement of the nose as it breathes. You might start there and then slowly start to extend down to the throat, to the chest, and so on, staying in touch with all parts of the breathing body. And you might find that at this point today, it's not the entire system. You're maybe just aware of the nose and the throat, or maybe just the pelvic floor and the diaphragm, or maybe just the chest, the stomach. But the suggestion here is that we're not following the breath in and out. We are being aware from the breathing body. When you find yourself pulled away from your body breathing or from whatever aspect of the breath, whatever practice of the breath you're working with, just bringing your attention back again and again without judgment, even with a celebration. You woke up, you became aware of the fact that you had drifted off into random thinking. You became lucid, and now you're back with the breath, and that's worth celebrating every single time. Now we might start to play just a little bit with sensitization to the receiving and the letting go that can happen with breath. So consider before your next inhale, pausing and allowing the body to get just a little hungry for that next breath. We're not talking about holding your breath for a long time, just a pause, just enough to notice and to be able to take in what it's like to receive the whole body, receiving that oxygen, receiving life. You might try that a few times. Gentle pause before the inhales. And again, this isn't a breath holding contest. It's a gentle pause just to notice that hunger for breath, just to notice that receiving in a little bit more of a obvious way. And you might spread your attention over your whole body here with these receiving breaths, just noticing the aliveness, the energy in the body when it receives that breath. You might taste flavors of pleasure, of joy, of relief upon the receiving of the inhale. Could even be like a giddy feeling that comes up if you really tune in. Your sweet body so happy to receive that breath. So much pleasure available to receive here as well. And you can stay with this, with just receiving. You might not need that pause anymore. You might be attuned to it and just enjoying the breath. Or you might want to sensitize a bit to the letting go. Maybe the same thing, except we pause before the exhale. So filling up, receiving, letting go. And again, this pause is brief, it's gentle. It's also optional. You might be very tuned into the letting go without needing to pause, but if it's helpful, you can add that in. And it might feel good to let the exhale come from the mouth, a little more exaggerated letting go. Or perhaps just breathing through the nose, that slight pause. And tuning into the flavors that are available with the letting go. Some of them might be very similar to what you notice with the inhale, and there also might be kind of a relaxation or peace that comes in with the release, with the letting go. There might be a sort of grounding experience that happens with the exhale. Maybe a different flavor of pleasure. And tuning into this letting go, as simple as it may seem, just the letting go of the breath. There might also be other kinds of emotions that arise. There might be some sort of tenderness. Might even notice flavors of sadness or grief as you let go. being kind with yourself as you explore this. It might be that you want to go back to the receiving instead. That's totally okay. And perhaps you let go of the pause at this point. Maybe you're attuned to the letting go and you can simply notice it without manipulating the breath at all. Or maybe the pause continues to be helpful. And I encourage you to notice if the body tightens up around any of this. So we want to soften wherever possible. The shoulders have creeped up, and just let those drop. If you find that you're clenching, locking the jaw, go ahead and release that. The stomach or the pelvic floor has contracted. Maybe giving the suggestion of relaxation to these parts of the body as well. And now maybe starting to notice both the receiving and the letting go. Using the pauses if that's helpful. Otherwise, you can just notice it without the pauses. The receiving that your body experiences on the inhale, letting go that your body experiences on the exhale. This can be a receiving in a purely physical way, but there's also potentially some emotional components of that receiving. And same with the letting go. And you can just hang with this. You might even add in, I am receiving, I am letting go. You might even add in what you'd like to receive, what you'd like to let go of. I am receiving clarity. I am letting go of confusion. whatever else may be present for you in that receiving and letting go sphere. Or you might wish to skip that and drop into the inquiry of who or what is receiving, who or what is letting go. What is receiving this breath? What is letting go of this breath? Letting go of any sort of effort related to this receiving and letting go, and noticing how it's just happening automatically. When we focus on the breath, sometimes there can be this sense of effort, but then eventually we forget. We forget to make that effort, and it's just doing what it does. The body's receiving, the body's letting go. It's just what's happening. There's no separate solid you that is conducting it. You might also think of this receiving and letting go as birth and death, and birth and death, and birth and death, again and again and again and again. This process that you couldn't possibly control or manage. This natural expression of reality, this being born and dying in infinite ways. And as you're ready, you might start to bring just a little gentle movement into the body. Maybe some really gentle rolls of the shoulder, maybe gentle turning of the head side to side. Maybe slowly moving up to a little stretch. Maybe opening up and then curling in. Maybe hands on the body, the heart, and the belly. And orienting to your space when you're ready to open your eyes. Just looking around. Walls and floor and ceiling. Windows and doors, corners and seams. Maybe noticing some objects in the room. Maybe noticing your scruffy little growly dog. Maybe you can see out a window. All right. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Such a pleasure.